Your business is making sales, and it is still dying. Right now, thousands of business owners across the USA and UK are working 12-hour days, watching money come in, and still getting crushed by bills they cannot pay. Nearly 82% of failed businesses collapse because of one invisible problem nobody warns them about. And by the time they see it, it is already too late. What destroys them is not what they think. You wake up already behind. You check your bank account before you even get out of bed. One customer pays late, one supplier raises prices, one slow week happens, and suddenly everything feels fragile again. You are selling, customers are coming in, but somehow there is never enough money left at the end of the month. So you work longer hours, hoping effort will fix confusion. Meanwhile, you watch other businesses survive the same economy and wonder what they understand that you do not. In the UK alone, thousands of small businesses close every year despite having active customers and steady sales. Most owners do not fail because nobody wanted what they sold. They fail because cash disappears faster than they can explain. Marco is standing in the storage room behind his food stall in Detroit, staring at 6 boxes of fresh chicken he cannot afford anymore. The suppliers stopped answering his calls yesterday. Now they want payment up front. He slowly lowers himself onto an upside-down bucket beside the freezer and rubs both hands across his face. Outside the thin metal door, customers are still lining up for lunch. Orders keep printing. Fries keep cooking. The business looks busy. That is what makes this so confusing, because 3 months earlier, Marco thought he was finally escaping struggle. Sales were exploding. Construction workers from nearby sites started coming every afternoon. Uber Eats orders doubled. Some nights he sold out completely before 8 p.m. For the first time since opening the stall, Marco stopped feeling embarrassed when friends asked how business was going. "It's actually working now," he told his mother. And honestly, it looked like it was. Every day there was money coming in, cash in the register, card payments on his phone, delivery orders stacking up. So Marco started acting like a growing business owner. He upgraded the menu boards, bought branded takeaway packaging, ordered extra ingredients so he would never run out again, hired his cousin part-time for weekends because the lines were getting too long. None of those decisions were stupid. That is the dangerous part. Every decision looked smart because Marco was watching sales, not cash, and those are not the same thing. The real damage started quietly. Delivery apps delayed payouts for days. Suppliers wanted faster payments because food prices kept changing. Payroll hit every Friday. Rent hit at the start of the month. And Marco kept spending money that technically existed, but had not actually arrived yet. From the outside, the business looked healthier every week. Inside, it was bleeding. But Marco could not see the bleeding because sales were distracting him. One Friday night, he closes the stall and counts the week's numbers inside his car parked under a flickering streetlight. $8,400 in sales. He stares at the number and actually smiles for a second. Then he opens his banking app. 479 left. The smile disappears immediately. He refreshes the screen twice. Still 417. Marco was about to make the exact mistake that destroys thousands of businesses every year. And he thought it was the responsible thing to do. The next morning, he decides to take out a short-term business loan to push through the rough patch. Before signing, he visits a small bakery nearby, owned by an older man named Hassan. Marco respects him because the bakery survived nearly 20 years, while dozens of nearby shops disappeared. Marco explains everything fast. Bigger sales, more customers, tight cash, temporary pressure. Hassan listens quietly while wiping flour off his hands. Then he asks one question. If your business is doing so well, why are you scared every time your phone vibrates? Marco says nothing, because the question lands too hard. Hassan walks over to the sink and points at a bucket filling with water under a leaking pipe. Most businesses do not die because water stops coming in, he says. They die because nobody notices the leak until the bucket is empty. Marco looks at the overflowing bucket for several seconds, and suddenly he understands everything. The business was not failing because customers disappeared. It was failing because cash was leaving faster than he could replace it. That week, Marco changes his entire system. No more buying inventory early just because sales looked good. No more touching money before future bills were covered. Every dollar now has a job before he spends it. The first month feels slower, smaller. But 2 months later, something changes. The fear disappears. Not completely, but enough. 6 months earlier, Marco was making nearly $9,000 a week in sales and constantly panicking about money. Now he averages closer to $6,500. But for the first time, suppliers are paid early, payroll is covered, rent no longer scares him, and every night when his phone vibrates, his chest no longer tightens. Because now Marco finally understands the difference between making money and actually keeping it. You probably know that feeling already. Working constantly, but still feeling financially unsafe. Watching money enter your business and somehow disappear before you can breathe. That kind of stress changes how you think. It makes every notification feel dangerous. The real problem is not low sales, it is timing. Most first-time business owners believe profit and cash are the same thing. They are not. Profit is what looks good on paper. Cash is what keeps the lights on Tuesday morning when payroll hits before customers walk through the door. That is what happened to Marco. From the outside, his business looked healthier every month. Inside, the timing of money moving in and out was quietly choking it. And the reason this destroys so many businesses is simple. Nobody teaches normal people how cash actually behaves inside a real business. Once you understand that, the problem stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling manageable. Start tracking cash flow manually for the next 30 days. Not complicated software, not accounting jargon. Just write down exactly when money enters your business and exactly when it leaves. You need to see the timing clearly before you can control it. Then create one rule. Never spend based on sales alone. Spend based on what remains after future bills are already covered. Small businesses that maintain even a 1-month cash buffer are dramatically more likely to survive economic pressure, supplier delays, or slow seasons. That is why companies like McDonald's obsess over cash movement, not just revenue numbers. A business can survive slow growth. It usually cannot survive empty cash reserves. The moment Marco understood that difference, his business finally stopped feeling like an emergency. Most people think business success comes from hustle, intelligence, or ambition, but thousands of hard-working business owners in places like Detroit, Birmingham, and Houston are learning the same painful lesson every year. Effort alone does not protect you from financial blindness. First-generation entrepreneurs are trying to build businesses inside systems nobody ever explained to them properly. That is why so many smart people fail quietly, while less talented businesses survive longer. The businesses that survive are not always the ones making the most money. They are the ones that understand where the money is actually going. Before you leave this video, there is one number you need to calculate tonight. Tonight, sit down with your last 7 days of business expenses and calculate exactly how much cash remained after every payment cleared. Not estimated, exactly. Most business owners avoid this moment for years, and that avoidance quietly destroys them. And once you understand where your money is disappearing, the next thing you must learn is why doing everything yourself slowly traps your business in survival mode. You deserve a business that lets you breathe again.